Welcome to Happiness on Tap podcast, where guests dive deep into the vulnerable experiences that contribute to their happiness. I'm Leanne Herron, certified life and health coach, owner of Finding Resilience with Leanne, and host of this podcast. Thank you for joining us for Know, Like, Trust with Barbara Dawson, co-owner of Purple Mulch, with her husband of 43 years, Dr. Norm Dawson. This episode is part of our entrepreneur series. My husband and I have a passion for supporting local entrepreneurs and small businesses in our community and our city. And when I opened my coaching business, I knew I wanted to continue this passion and have been busy having fun supporting other small businesses in a variety of ways, from sharing their story, mentoring, attending their events, and buying from them. Our mission is to provide value to our listeners by providing tips and tools to help save time, money, and your sanity, while providing education and information for personal and professional development. I met Barbara at an in-person networking event through Alignable Alliance of Rio Rancho. Alignable brings local members together for in-person and virtual events to foster the creation of meaningful relationships, community support, and personal and professional growth, breaking the barriers to networking. I've enjoyed getting to know Barbara and her passion for empowering others to discover and live life fully. Barbara holds a bachelor's degree in education from the University of New Mexico. She has been married for 43 years and has 4 children whom she has homeschooled through high school. Barbara has been involved with the community as a leader in a number of civic organizations, particularly Toastmasters International, the National Association of Women Business Owners, and a local gardening group as a master gardener. 27 years ago, Barbara and her husband embarked on a direct sales business as a function of her husband's chiropractic practice using nutritional supplements. The knowledge she shares is a direct result of thousands of conversations and successful business practices she has established. Barbara teaches from experience that works. Barbara teaches and coaches small businesses, startups, and established businesses a course called Authentic Communication Through the Sales Process to help people communicate better and improve their know, like, and trust relationships in business. Barbara has taught sales skills at UNM Anderson School of Management and C&M Ingenuity. Her fun hobbies include fermenting fruit, food, gardening, knitting, and making sourdough bread. Welcome, Barbara, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you, Leanne. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, thank you. Please tell us about your company and the services you provide.
Okay. So my company is called Purple Mulch, and I love the fact you have purple in your background, Leanne. That's like, yay, my kind of color.
My color.
And with Purple Mulch, I do several things. I do coaching, I do nutritional consulting, and then I also, as you mentioned in the introduction, I do training. I teach UNM students that are in the sales program. I teach them how to do sales so they can, we can take them and they can get on the international stage. I also teach entrepreneurs and other people the sales skills. But the Purple Mulch, a lot of people say, well, why Purple Mulch? What does that have to do with anything? But I am a gardener, I'm a master gardener, and I know here in New Mexico where I live, if we don't mulch heavily, the water goes away. So we have to mulch our plants. And that's really what I feel like I do with whoever I work with. I make them the center of my attention and I mulch them and try to keep them, healthy and supported. And purple is just a great color.
Absolutely. Yeah. What inspired you to pursue this profession?
Mm. You know, I got into education when I went to UNM years ago. And so I've always been an educator. As you said, I have homeschooled my kids. I thought I would be teaching in the public school system, but that really was not my deal. It didn't work for me. I decided I would do something else. I went out to teach adults. And at first I was teaching them computers. And when the desktop computers first came on the scene back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But then over the years, I've been teaching people nutrition, wellness, how to build their self-worth, build their self-confidence. And so it's really been a process of doing it over and over and over and over and over again. And then one day saying, wow, I guess I'm pretty good at this. People are getting results. So why not make that a part of my business? So that's how I got into this piece of it with teaching sales.
Oh, that is wonderful.
Thank you.
You teach a course called Authentic Communication through the Sales Process to help people communicate better and improve their know, like, and trust relationships in business.
Yes.
And I only recently learned about the know, like, and trust principles in marketing that outlines the 3 key stages in building a relationship with potential customers. So I am absolutely excited to learn from you because I come from a background of accounting and law, and marketing was nowhere in that. So the floor is yours, Barbara, and we look forward to learning from you.
Oh, thank you. And I'm going to start it off by saying I haven't used this a lot on social media platforms, but I believe the principles are still there. In social media, I think it just takes longer because, it just takes longer. Mm-hmm. So know, like, and trust, where I'm going to start with the knowing, K-N-O-W, not N-O, K-N-O-W, the knowing part. So if I frequent the Village Mercantile here in Corrales, and I get to know the people that work there, I may be buying from them, and maybe I'm not referring many people there. But if I get to know the people and know their passion for what they're doing and really feel like I've got a friend in that store, now I know them. And if I really get to know them well, then I like them too. They do things for me. I just went over, it's just that relationship that we're building. So we've got to build relationships so that we get to know people, we like people, and we trust them enough to give them our money and give them our business. So that's the nutshell of it. So let's look at how this works in business. So you and I met at a networking event. So there were maybe 20, maybe 30 people in the room, maybe that many, I don't know, but there were a bunch of people in the room. I walked in there, I didn't know anybody. So what I do is I get to know you. So I might, if I see someone standing by themselves or they look like they're friendly, they're smiling, they're engaging, I'll go up to them and introduce myself. But here's the difference that I think that I like to teach is that if I go up to you, Leanne, and I say, hey, Leanne, what do you do? Let's do a role play here with me. What do you do, Leanne?
I'm a certified health and life coach, Barbara, and I help guide people to be the change that they want to see in their life and in the world.
Wow. Wow. So you're a life coach. That's amazing. What a great thing you do. I bet. So what I do, backing off of the role play, what I'm doing is I'm going to acknowledge what I heard you say, because I want you to get to know me. I want to get to know you. And then what I do is I ask more questions. And a lot of times, even when people say, oh, and tell me what you do, I'll say, oh, I'd love to. But first, you said you're helping people change their lives. Oh, my goodness. That's fantastic. Tell me more about that. How do you do what you do? And I'm going to engage who I'm talking with so that they get to talk about themselves. Newsflash, we all like to talk about ourselves.
And we all like to feel seen and heard.
Yes.
And when somebody engages with you, you feel seen and heard.
Exactly. Boy, I'm so glad you said that, because that's the key. So for me to get to know you, for you to get to know me, if I'm engaged in that conversation, what you're going to know about me is, oh, she's a good listener. Wow, she's interested in me. Oh, I wonder what she does for a living. Oh, but I'm getting to talk about myself. So that's building the know piece of it. And the more you are seen and heard, and I do that by what I call recreating what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say, oh yeah, I help, tell me, who's your ideal customer, Leanne? Who's your ideal client?
Oh, love role playing, throwing me on.
Well, it's your show. You can cut out anything you want.
My ideal client is the woman who has spent her whole life helping others, but has forgotten to take care of herself.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So the woman who has taken care of others, maybe raised a family, maybe, is taking care of a husband or a loved one, maybe parents, but taking care of everybody else and has forgotten the importance of taking care of themselves. Wow.
Yes.
I bet there's a lot of people like that out there, aren't there?
Surprisingly, I learn more every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So again, what I just modeled is that I heard what you said and I gave it back to you in a way that hopefully you felt heard. And if I had missed it, you probably would have said, well, that and da 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 da, you would have added to it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that's how I'm developing oh, I want you to like me. I want to like you. And if I'm really hearing you and giving back to you what I'm hearing you say, I forget the man's name who quoted it, but basically, when people are heard and really, really listened to, it is so close to intimacy that people don't know the difference. And so intimacy is a really important word. It's a big word. It means a whole lot. But what if we engaged with people and they got so that they could feel comfortably intimate with us in those conversations? Whew, no goes through the roof, like goes through the roof, trust goes through the roof. And now when I've had that conversation with someone and then they say, well, so what do you do, Barbara? And then I can tell them, and hopefully what I've got is I've picked up a few things about them in the conversation
Mm-hmm.
so that I can present what I do as
In
it
a way to
relates.
help them. Oh,
Yes, exactly.
beautiful.
Exactly. Yep. So that's what I do. That's what I teach. Yeah.
And you did such an amazing job with that when we first met, and then in our follow-up conversations, to really get to know each other, because my focus is trying to build up other entrepreneurs, but to do that I have to truly know that person and their business before I'm just gonna put their name out there. um, Not because I don't want to help them, but because I want to be authentic in how I portray them and what they did for my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me,
Yes.
that's kind of the other part, is when I share about a business that I'm working with as a referral partner or doing collaborations, even small businesses that I recommend, I want people to know that this is me being authentic. This is me and my experience with these companies. And I'm just a vessel to provide you information that you may not find otherwise.
And given your status, for lack of a better word, but status in the community, you're doing podcasts, you're doing Happiness on Tap. So what I'm hearing you say is when you refer someone, this is someone I would feel comfortable giving their name to you because I know they're going to do a good job with you. Your reputation's on the line there. And so you don't just say, oh, anybody, come on, anybody, and I'll refer, I'll give you airspace.
Mm-hmm.
So well done, because you've got to know that authentically you are giving to your audiences what you know to be the best. Yeah, good.
Yeah. And that is something when I do things with intent for that purpose.
Yes, I get that. Yeah.
And so my mission is to provide my listeners with tools to help them save time, money, and their sanity. And the know, like, and trust principles are so essential for building a strong relationship. Can you give us just a couple of tips to really help people take time and be present in those conversations with other businesses or even with their customers?
Yes. Yeah. Well, customers are, you're either bringing on customers or you're keeping on customers. So some tips. Sometimes before I walk into a room, if we're in a in-person networking event, before I ever walk in there, before I walk out of my car, I get real centered. I get very, very centered and know I don't know what's going to happen at this meeting, but whatever happens is the best thing to happen. For maybe I'm involved in that, maybe I'm not, but I know I trust like the energy field of what goes on in a networking event. So first tip is get centered, get into yourself, maybe even set an intention. So that would be number 2. Sometimes I'll set an intention. Gee, I'd like to meet 2 people in this hour and a half that I make a really good connection with, that I get their card and that I can I've already got an appointment set with them before I leave, or I'm going to get their name and number and call them back. So set the intention. And the third thing is when you are in the presence of other people, what I do is I make it a point to listen more and talk less. We've all heard it, you've got 2 ears, 1 mouth, use your ears twice as much. But it's not just to be listening, but it's like, what am I listening for? So many people are listening for, an opportunity for me to jump in and talk about what I do. No, I'm listening for what this person, what they're really about. What's the emotion behind what they're sharing with me? Because if I can tap into that emotion and really get that person, it's significant in the know, like, and trust. So yeah, get present, set an intention going in. And when I'm in the conversation, when you're in the conversation with people, be there for them. Don't make it about you, make it about them. Really listening to and I dive deep with people to find out what's the emotional why. Tell me more. Because I want to know them. That's what makes it fun. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Okay. And those were such valuable tips, especially for new entrepreneurs coming in and starting that whole avenue of going to networking events and the purpose of those networking events. Those were all beautiful tips, ones that I will take with me as I go forward into, more events. I just want to talk a little bit too about supporting entrepreneurs in different ways that we can do that. One of them is, buy from them. One of the most impactful ways that we can support an entrepreneur is to buy from their business, whether it's their products or services. Your purchases can help boost their revenue and help them grow their business.
And build their confidence.
Absolutely.
Oh, good. Somebody wants what I have to sell.
It makes all the difference in the world.
It does.
Share their story. Entrepreneurs rely on word of mouth to grow their business. Share their story on social media, recommend their business to friends and family, and leave positive reviews to help them reach a wider audience. I mentioned before we started recording, I had a gentleman reach out to me and it ended up leaving in a threat to my business because I wasn't willing to spend money to have him provide me fake reviews to use for my business.
Yeah.
And so, it's just it's frustrating as an entrepreneur because we're constantly inundated by people telling us how they can do what we're doing better,
Mhm. Mhm.
or a way to get into our pocket to take money from us where we're trying to build a business to support others.
Leanne, I'm going to interrupt you. All that you're talking about, there is no like, and trust in that relationship. I mean,
Not
if
at all.
somebody's going to reach out and say, I can do what you do better, let me do it for you. And if you say no, I'm going to threaten you with, you're going to lose customers. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
There's
that was
no like and trust there.
no like and trust.
No.
That was not the way I wanted to
Right.
start my morning, because I was so
Right.
excited, and I'm even more excited now to share this information that you have so kindly given your time to share with my listeners, so that they know the difference between those
Yes.
two things, because it's so easy to get caught up in somebody's great sales story
Right.
and
Yeah.
think, oh, this is, this can really help my business, and things that are too good to be true.
Mhm.
Also, if somebody's reaching out to you, be cautious.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't tell you, well, I can tell you, there's twice in our career that I've spent $10,000 thinking somebody was going, they did a great sales job on me, and they knew what I needed. And I spent the $10,000, and I still look back on both of those instances and say, they didn't deliver. I didn't know them well enough. So yeah, now if I'm going to spend $10,000 with somebody, I'm going to make sure I know them, like them, and trust them to deliver, and know that if they don't deliver, I can have that conversation with them, and they'll say, okay, what do I need to do to make it right? How can I make this right by you? Yeah.
More great tips for our entrepreneur people.
Good.
So, these are just a few ways you can support entrepreneurs. Barbara, where can people find you?
Go to purplemulch.com, purplemulch.com. That's my website. It's probably you can go in there, look around, and you may say, gosh, who I put the website together, so it's not perfect. Blame me. But it's a decent website.
I liked your website. It was
Yeah.
very warm and inviting.
Oh, thank you.
It gave me so much information about you and your husband. I felt like I'd known you.
Oh, good. Good.
My husband and I sat over dinner discussing your bios.
Oh, nice.
I was so excited, and I'm even more excited.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. If people want to reach out to me on email, it's Barbara, BARBARA, at purplemulch.com. And if you want to text me, 505-259-6400. And if I can't pick up the phone, I won't. And if it's an unknown number, I may make you leave a message before I call you back. So if you really want to talk to me and you're using my phone, leave a message. Or I may say, I don't know who that is. So that's how to connect with me.
Okay. And I do see that on your website that you do offer a free 30-minute conversation.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. You can go on there, sign up, and then you and I can do a talk. And I will tell you that I'll probably talk with you more than 30 minutes. So just kind of forewarning, we may go 45, but that's my choice.
And that is your listening and really hearing the person you're with. And that is so appreciated.
Oh, thank you.
I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for everybody who's listening. If you enjoy this interview, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Finding Resilience with Leanne. Happiness on Tap podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, and Google Podcast. So please make sure you subscribe so you keep up to date on all of the new and wonderful people that I am bringing to you to provide you information.
Well, thank you so much, Leanne. It has been my pleasure and honor to be in this space with you and to know you.
Yeah. Thank you. And you as well. And I look forward to doing more with you and collaborating with you on other things in the future.
That would be fun.
Great. Right. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.